back again with another live stream. Well, I tried to start one a while ago and check my sound and everything over here. Oh, I've got to get it playing. It was, why don't I hear sound over there? Shows to be working. The player, oh, I guess I wasn't noticing that I wasn't seeing my stream. I was just seeing the, little background image I have. For some reason that the laptop, something to do with this laptop playing the stream's not working good tonight. Okay, yeah, so, I've got it unmuted. I reloaded it. There, it looks like it's going to finally come in. Okay, so a while ago I started, and I sat there and fiddled around with it and watched it for about a minute and a half, and it finally got better. I was trying to figure out what was going on, but anyway, I said I wasn't going to reboot anything because I didn't want to lose it. I've got pretty good sync with my cameras, and I didn't want to lose that. By sometimes it gets actually worse when I reboot my router, and so when it's working, I decided to leave it. Yeah, they're not too bad. Okay, so it's always some kind of technical difficulties in there. So I'm going to, I rebooted my modem is what I did, and that's all. And now the stream is, well, it was already green. By the time I shut it down last time, it was green, but a lot of times it goes back and forth. So never did see it go red, but I did see it. I saw it, OBS Studio popped up a message saying during my last stream saying, the one before, well, the one that worked, saying OBS stream is restarting. So I probably never saw any messages on the laptop just because I didn't look at the right time. So I figured, excuse me. Anyway, rather than start and stop again and go through all more confusion and checking, I'm going to keep going because everything looks good now. Okay, okay, so I'm going to get back on my, let's go to the desktop. I'll show you on the desktop first. Okay, I bought 3 of these Estone Gigabit Ethernet PCI cards, Pci-e, revision 1, and I run Linux, so that's what I pay attention to. I didn't notice until the other day that they actually didn't say anything about anything newer than Windows 2003, XP, Vista, 7, oh, 7, okay, 7, yeah, 32 and 64-bit, okay. But it doesn't say 8 or 10, yeah, that's what I had noticed. So, and I've already showed them in the previous video. I got them out and tried to put them in my mom's ASRock machine I'm building for her, and I neglected to check and see if I had enough slots. I only have one. Where's the description? Here it is. Yeah, it's PCI Express 1X. And I only have one of those slots in the video. I got a video card in it that I can't go without. I even took it out, and because there's onboard video on that ASRock Mother Board, but it's not working. So that actually, after all that, all that time messing around with all that yesterday, I realized, well, that's 2 strikes against that AMD 8300 8-core processor working right in the that ASRock motherboard. It supports 8 cores. It works. It runs good, but the onboard network's not working. That's why I bought these. Plus, I wanted a couple more. I bought 3 because I wanted some from other machines. Because now I've got 2 gigabit routers and a gigabit switch, so I'm all set up for that from that end. And my ISP. Charter now Spectrum, they brought our speed up to 200 megabits. So 100 megabit cards is just not going to hack it now. That's half of what you could have, in your internet speed. So, and they don't get 100. The one that's in there now, the most that I've seen it get is the one that I put in there now, so I can have connectivity on that machine, the ASRock. It gets 95 is about the best I've seen it get. Yesterday it was getting anywhere from 50 to 91 or 2. I ran some tests. So, none of this stuff is going to get the max of what they advertise. We know that. So I was a bit surprised, but I don't know why. I guess because the cards were older. Actually, rather than buy one, you know, I had some old machines in the garage, so I went out there and dug around and brought in three, you know, 100 megabit cards, and one didn't work at all in that machine. I don't know that it's bad; it just didn't work in that machine. You know, in Linux, Fedora 27 Linux didn't even see it, and then the other one worked, but it only got like 35 megabits, and then the one that's in it, it got up to 95 megabits. So, and one of these, I still don't know if they even work or not, and I want to test them if I can, or I need to find out if I don't know if any of my other machines will even have these slots in them, because the other machines are really older than that motherboard. But I got to thinking, well, my red black BioStar's not that much older, and Mom's old motherboard, it's a BioStar as well, but it's AMD, is not. They're both about the same age. I bought them around the same year anyway. And the NetPro Max, it's got SATA connectors in it for hard drives and stuff. I know that, so it might actually have. I think it has AGP video, so it may not have, you know, PCIe, but I'm going to look at the specs and see. But so anyway, and the other thing is, I'm going to actually get them out and look them over again and show. They put them in they came in a bag, so it could have been happening, you know, on the way. They didn't put them in a box, and that's, you know, a no-no with something delicate like circuit boards, especially coming all the way from China on this little boat from China. But I don't, you know, you have no way of knowing if they were like that when I got them. But the mounting brackets are bent. One's bent really bad, so obvious, and the other one, when you put it in the machine, you can see that it's bent. It won't line up the screw holes. And you know, you could probably straighten them back out, but I didn't. I started to do it, and then I thought, well, wait, let's see if they, you know, any of them even work. If even one of them's bad, I'm going to send them back for sure, you know. And so, I guess while I'm on the desktop, I've got the motherboard for the NetPro Max located here. So, I mean the manual for it. Looks like I might have two manuals or something. We'll see. Let's open them both up and see if they're the same thing or what. Looks like they are. So, 3 PCIe slots and 1 AGP slot. I remembered it had a video card in it. So I don't think it's going to be PCIe. Pretty sure they're not. I think they're just standard. Let's see, yeah, PCI 1, 2, and 3. For a minute, I thought that was an E. I see things backwards and in the wrong place all the time. That's a 3. Yeah, so there's a diagram of the motherboard. It's an Zeus motherboard, but it's an older one, you know. It's got a Celeron processor, 2.8 gigahertz, I think, 64-bit, and probably about a 60, or I think it's a 128 megabyte video card. It's great for a server. It was a high-end machine. It was actually kind of custom built by a company that sold them as, they called NetPro Max, and they sold them as a surveillance system. It has a DVI video, you know, ahead of, you know, when it was a mainstream thing, and on that card, you know, and stuff. And let's see, yeah, there's no PCI Express or PCIe on there, so I'm just searching through the document. Yeah, it's not going to have it. Well, there's a picture. Yeah, see, standard. I had forgotten what they look like. The new ones look like. New ones are on that ASRock are blue, and you know the pinouts are way different. So, but this is exactly what the regular PCI looks like. And the cards are really short. The PCIe 1X are real short, like, you know, to there. So it's gonna, whoops, there. I don't think there's really gonna be any more. Okay, yeah, there's not gonna be any more useful information, I don't think. Okay, I don't like to close them. Wherever you close those PDFs, they go back to that. Let's see. So that one wouldn't be able to use it. And I'm almost certain. I didn't think about the. I think it has onboard Ethernet. What if it's actually? Probably going to call it LAN or something. There's driver. Sometimes they call it LAN, but oh, gigabit LAN controller. Really? So that machine's already gigabit. That's good. I'm pretty sure it's on, well, obviously it's onboard LAN, so cool. So I don't need one for that anyway. It's already got gigabit LAN. Socket 775. And of course, PC you don't need. Well, I mean, you can't. There are reasons to use, extra LAN card. Oh, here's a picture of the back end of the. Well, it doesn't show it to have onboard. So I guess maybe it will support gigabit LAN, but depends on what kind of card you've got in it, whether or not you're going to have gigabit then. LAN port. Unless that picture, it does look like it's, the way they're talking about it, it sounds like it's on board. Maybe it's not in the same area as that little shot that I was looking at, but there it is, gigabit. It's easier to do this than to go look at the machine. Well, I mean, you wouldn't know the specs just by looking at the machine anyway. You'd have to be. So that's cool. Well, I'm still thinking in the back of my mind is setting up a machine as a backup server with my big hard drives, my 5 and 8 terabyte hard drives. They're just not dependable in the enclosures that come with, because the connectors are so poorly made. They won't stay. They're too short to stay in there basically, and they'll fall out, and then you lose. I've had my NTFS partition break at least 3 times and had to fix it. Got lucky I could fix it, didn't lose all my data. And the new one that I just got, 8 terabyte. That was a 5 terabyte, and then I have a new one at 8 terabyte. It's a lot tighter, but won't take it. They just, I mean, I don't even move them around, and just the weight of the cable. Maybe they, you bump them or something once in a while because they're there in the, I mean, you're gonna, or I'd move it once in a great while to plug it into a machine that's not, can't reach to or something. But yeah, the LAN controller evidently oh, that's LAN, not LAN. Onboard LAN, there we go. I just wanted to confirm that. So evidently it does have onboard LAN. But that threw me off because it's just an example of what you could put in the PCI slots. But yeah, I don't see it in that picture. Oh, there it is. I just can't see. Number 3, LAN. There we go. I probably was showing it and not seeing it. I'm terrible. That's why I have to use the search to find stuff. Sometimes, especially when I get in a hurry. Okay, so it has onboard gigabit LAN. Very good. Okay. Started that coughing again a while ago, and I got a cough drop and used about half of it, and then said I wanted to start my video. I better finish the cough drop. I didn't want to be smacking it, but I have to. So I'm using the desktop search to search my backups. Hopefully I've got, it looks like I got lots of stuff on the BioStar too. That's mine. Okay, that's the one I was wanting to know about first. It should show up mine and mom's. Oh, that's where I bought it. Thought it was going to be the manual. Well, that might tell me the basic spec. That's where I bought it at Tiger Direct. And I went back later and saved the screenshot just for the specs that were on there. Evidently, because the price says it's not available. Hope it got the specs that I wanted. Beginning to look like it didn't. Well, the word LAN keeps showing up. Just says LAN. PCI Express. Okay, so it does have PCI Express. That's what I'm most in. But it may have gigabit LAN too. Well, it doesn't have any of the details of the specs there. I was going to go straight to showing the hardware first, and now I'm doing it the opposite, but I guess it doesn't matter that much. See if it'll find me the manual that way. Nothing, okay. Warranty. Too long of a list, and I don't know if it'll narrow down. The searcher may not be that great. See if that'll tell me anything. Okay, that's what I'm running in the the red black BioStar. 1.8 gigahertz dual core for Dual 14. I actually have a couple of other operating systems that I never did really use on there too, but okay, PCI Express port. Got two of them. Okay, so I can put Ethernet controller. Let's see. Now let's see about. Okay, so I could use it on there. I was looking for a machine to, get out and test it on. Realtek 8101E. It has onboard Ethernet. I just don't know if it's gigabit. Yeah, there we go. It's gigabit. Looks like. So it probably doesn't need one either. Yeah. Keeps talking about the drivers. This tells about hardware and software, so you got to kind of look through. I think I'm seeing the same things over and over now. Okay. So, I actually don't need it for that either. Thought there we go. Oh, that's mom's warranty. That's all that is. Opened it up anyway just to see if it'll get me in a folder that'll tell me where more information is. Oh, okay. Well, this looks like it might have more. See if it has specs on it. This is the original setup that I bought, the kit that I bought for mom. And that's the same box, but with the ASRock Mother Board in it now. That 450 watt power supply died after 2 or 3 years, and I had to buy another one. Everything else still works. It's a fast machine. It really is a dual core. 2000 megahertz is how they measure the AMDs, or they used to. And it really ran faster than equivalent, Intel. You could just really tell a difference. 2.2 gigahertz. It's not just 2, so. Don't remember. Let's see. Well, the BioStar mine is only 1.8 gigahertz. You can't compare that, really. That's enough difference, But I did have, I know I have of dual cores. I have a laptop that's 2 of them that's 2 gigahertz, and it's faster than them, of course. But it has the 512 megabyte real video card too, so. Kind of hard to. I don't have an exact head-to-head comparison that I can think of. We'll see if I do BioStar and mom. See if anything at all will come up. I don't know if this searcher. Yeah, see it doesn't work that way. I don't think putting the wildcard in there will help either. I think it looks for that character instead of you considering it a wildcard. So this searcher would be great if it was any good. If it searched worth a crap. Because it can search, pretty fast. I'm searching my backup drive, all the documents in my backup drive. Well, the first search you do on that folder takes 2 to 5 minutes, and then after that it's real quick to change to what you're looking for. Well, it's not as important on that other one anyway, so I won't keep on and on looking. I'm going to guess that since it's about the same age, it probably does have an onboard gigabit. If I could look through this and see, couldn't try mom, I guess, but then I'll find no telling what. How much more stuff, to try to manually look through. Yeah, that's not going to work. I'm going to close it. Okay, so my backup video is good, so let's get rid of some of this extra stuff. Yeah, it was only $200. That was the best deal I ever got. Best outcome on buying building a PC kit I ever did. I still had to buy, well, no, it came with a hard drive. Okay, so let's go over here to make sure we got sound on our. Okay, now go over here to the workbench and. Now here's the bag with the, I'll put them back in there. Came on this little boat from China. I didn't notice there was 2 stickers. It's upside down now. That's interesting.
Anyway, there's not really anything to see on the stickers. But that is how that's the packing. That's it. And so, you know, but you don't know if somebody, if they got stepped on, dropped and stepped on, that's what I was saying yesterday. Or if it, you just, you know, they were like that and they still send them out, you know. So since they are, what I'm trying to figure out is, try to tape that up real nice and everything. If they're tape tore, I mean, they're in bad enough shape. Look at the space you can see in there. Maybe I should have left that up higher. Not quite that high, I don't think. Okay, so, yeah, look at that. That one, I mean, I was immediately just thought, well, as long as it works, as long as these work, I'll go ahead and bend it back and see if it works. But now it looks like I don't even have machines that I can use them in, even if they did work. And since they're damaged, you can see where it's damage there on the corner of that. So it was, you know, like that, and then just the common thing of as if somebody stepped on it with it laying there like that. So that is the only thing that looks, you know, messed up. It's that little mark on there in the bin. And these, surprisingly, these are tough. It took some pressure. That's why I say stepped on it to bend that, because, you know, a lot of these are so weak you can just squeeze them back like with your fingers. And oh, well, that time it bent. I wasn't even really trying. Well, I'll be darned. I did not mean to straighten it back out. I was going to take the screws out and get some pliers and bend them back. I don't know why. How could I have been that much weaker? I mean, I was not really trying at all. That's what I expected, for you to be able to just straighten them back out like that. Okay, now it's straightened out. But it looks like I could. I don't want to bend it back again just so I can send it back. You shouldn't fiddle with it so much, huh? It's not. I mean, they don't cost a lot. It's, you know, it's $12 for all three of them. So they are a good thing to have. And you know, we're not going to go having slower Ethernet. Well, let's see which. Oh, the Red Black BioStar has. It's got 2 slots that should work with these, so I can at least test them. But the thing is, it's my server right now, and Mom's old motherboard's in a box out in the garage. But I don't actually have a box. I've got plenty of boxes, but no power supplies that will. I've got one, the old E-Machines box that I got. Had a machine that had bad cap syndrome, and I built these neighbors a new machine and took that in as part of the labor, you know, because I knew I could. I had this ASRock Mother Board, and I put it in there. I had bought it, had a brand new motherboard, and well, I straightened it out. I don't know why yesterday it didn't seem like it wanted to bend, and I didn't want to, you know, push too hard, and scared I'd break the circuit board, you know. But I don't know. Maybe I just got in the exact right place or something. I was just I probably saw it better than I did if you're looking, because I know I just kind of grabbed it like that and squeezed on it, and it just went back, which is what I would expect. But I thought, man, that thing must be tough. But now it's right back in its place, just like it should be. Okay, well, if they work, then I will not worry about it. I will keep them because, oh, great. The, look there. See, I wasn't putting that in its place. God, dog it. I figured if I keep fiddling with it, you should know not to keep fiddling with something that you don't know if you want to send it back. It looks like I could still send them back. And, yeah, I want that to be in its right place, so you know what that means. I can't, problem is I can't see. I don't have my, sometimes I put my workbench up in front of my monitor. Well, luckily those were, those have 4 solder pins. I'm afraid they might have got broke loose. What I was going to do is what I guess I'll do. I'm going to take this screw out and see if that it's messed up. See if I actually broke this. That's what's bad when you get old and you can't see. Uh-oh. Sure did pull them up, didn't it? I can't tell if they're broken. No, they're not broken loose. Believe it or not. Well, they probably have pulled them. May have broken them loose on the inside of this light box. It's got the light in it. You get something else. I knew I kept telling myself to don't try to do anything to it if you're going to send it back, you know. But I didn't even notice that the little, I'm looking at it on my magnifying glass because I didn't even notice that the light bulb thing wasn't wasn't in it, was moving or anything like that. Oh, yeah, okay. See, I took the screw out, so I was like, oh, why is that moving so easy? There we go. That's what we wanted. Okay. And so we'll know if our lights don't work. I mean, they may be just kind of, sometimes you got a little leeway and stuff like that, you know, like that it maybe didn't break it. I would not like one that the light didn't work on, that's for sure. But now that I've fiddled with it, I guess it's mine now. I'm still not quite sure. My screwdriver fell way down there where I can't reach it. But I've got something long that I think I could drag it out of there with. I should have, there we go. I didn't think about that. Stick it in that crack in it where the table folds up and down. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, that one light bulb, I don't think that's normal. One sticks out a lot. The other one's almost just stick out just a little bit, and the other one sticks out a whole lot. But it's back in its place. Now, whether the connections inside to the bulbs, well, if they have any like slack in there, if that pin just goes through there and is soldered to a wire, it's probably soldered straight to the. Well, that could be that pin. Could very well be the tail, wire coming out of the LED. So it might have a little slack. So maybe it didn't hurt it. The solders aren't broken or anything. Yeah. Okay, that's probably the case. That it's, you can see right there 2 wires coming out of the back of that. Now that's probably the wires off of the LEDs. No? Maybe it is. I don't know. I know LEDs have to have a certain amount of resistor on them to keep them from burning up, and maybe they're in there in that box too, or maybe that's coming off of the resistors there. I don't know how. I've never taken anything like that apart or seen anybody do it. But it's all back in place. all straightened out. So now, if they work, but I need to test them for sure before, I need to make sure that they're going to work before my return window runs out. I kind of thought it had run out because I ordered them in November, but they did extend for the Christmas holiday. They extended the return window to sometime up in towards the end of this month. But I didn't think it. I thought you had to have bought it in December is what I thought I'd read. But this one's pretty right on, yeah. Well, actually, not exactly right on, yeah. One of them I know I put it in the machine and the screw hole wouldn't line up because it was actually bent some too. And I couldn't see it till I stuck it in the machine. This is probably not the one. But the things, one of those, well no, those bulbs are closer to the same. But even the little flub I did shouldn't have anything to do with how much the bulb sticks out. Make it stick out more, maybe less. If anything, if it would pull it back, you know, but I don't think it would do that. But yeah, I used to, you could just buy parts and use them when you got around to it, and most of the, you know, 99% of the time they were fine. Even a few years later you wouldn't even think about it, but now you better check them immediately because you may have gotten junk for your money. Well, that tape stuck really good. That's that one. I can always just I taped them up with Scotch tape, you know, just to keep them from falling back out of there or something. And they had those little, they had them closed with those little stickers. And that one, it seems okay. Yeah, it's, you can't tell when they're bent just a little bit by just looking at them, really. And usually things like those screws can be loose. I started thinking I don't want to mess with them, but I guess I've already... It's better to, you know, if you don't do it while you're thinking about it, you won't do it. So I think I'll check the screws. I've only checked the one that I took out and put back in so far. So let's check them all. Because you know, that's a very common thing when you on stuff these days, is to have loose screws straight out of the factory. And this screwdriver doesn't grab super good, so it's not gonna, you know, break them or anything. So it's my favorite computer and, you know, small stuff screwdriver, so I've used it for years now, and I think there's a little wear on the tip. This is the one I had worked on. Now you'd never be able to tell that it was the one. Yeah, it looks like really the machines that have PCIe slots come with Gigabit Ethernet on board. That's what it's looking like from what I was seeing just now in my research and in my documentation that I have on it. So I still don't know if they're gonna do me any good. But, you know, I mean, if I mistakenly bought something I didn't really need, that's my problem, my fault, not but like I just showed, they were bent. One was really bent bad. That's their fault. Okay, so how am I gonna do this? Let's just put them here on the workbench for now. Okay. The one that I know I can put them in is the one that I don't want to shut down because it's my web server. It's also going to be a pain to get out of there. There is the possibility I could get, well, that'd be a lot of work though. I get that mom's old motherboard, her BioStar, and put it in that eMachines box, but it's only a 250 watt power supply, and it had a 2 gigahertz processor in it with lower end, probably using a lot less wattage than the one that was mom's, and it always did act up. It ran it, but it acted up. But that's the processor that came in when it was an eMachine. I mean, it was big, just barely big enough. But it never worked quite right, and it was getting worse. Yeah, it wouldn't. That's right. It got so bad you couldn't even. It would just shut down and do crazy. You know, do the kind of things it does when something's wrong with the power supply or maybe some other things. But yeah, that's not an option, and I don't have anything with a power supply that can run either one of those dual core setups that I have. I have memory, processor, motherboards. You know, I've got the ASRock is still in mom's machine, her box, and I'm not. Yeah, I don't want to take that out right now anyway. So the only other one would be her BioStar. But I don't have a power supply. The older machines don't. They have 20 pin main motherboard connectors, and the newer ones have 24 pin. I just saw that a while ago. So yeah, BioStar. If I could find something to do with mom's, if I could just see. Really thought you could do. You can't do 2-word searches, evidently. I really thought you could. I called it the Hot Rod PC. Now let's see if that finds anything else on it. It does find stuff. There we go. Let's look through here before we go to that folder, though. That's because if I find the manual, that's what I'm really hoping to see. Usually it's almost always a PDF, so if we see that little PDF icon, then, you know, that would be it. This stuff is, you know, most of this is in those folders that I'm looking at. Yeah, and there's more than one folder. Can you organize it by folder? I don't think so, no. Well, let's go to the... see what's in there. Let's see. Drivers install guide, links, NVIDIA drivers. Doesn't look like it, just about drivers and stuff. Let's see, no, let's go back up. There's another folder. This is, oh, I thought there was two. It said Fedora 14. I guess not, just the Fedora 13 folder. See, I built it as Fedora 13, and then by the time I got finished, Fedora 14 was out, so I went ahead, and I think there was even some kind of bugs in it too, so Fedora 14 was out, so I went ahead and upgraded it to Fedora 14. Okay, now there's a poster of it. Let's see what else it's got. Let's look at that first. There's a PDF. Yeah, motherboard poster. Those are really good. There's actual paper that came with them, and big old poster, and you could lay it out and look at it while you're setting it, put it together, which was really good. Yeah, there's the Ethernet right there. I see that. I can tell that's it right there. Now this is it is a PDF. I might be able to search through it. Some of them you can, some of them you can't. Let's see. Yep, there it is. It's a TID 100. Okay. So it could benefit from it for sure. Oh, I want to know, does it have... There it is. PCI Express 16. So yeah, it's got... How many does it have? Just one. That's probably the one I put the video card in then. Yeah, it doesn't have AGP, it's got PCI Express. Yeah. So it's got one PCI Express, and it does not have onboard video. I don't know why it just did that. Took over and started moving around. Yeah, there's no, wait. Looks like VGA on there. Maybe it does have it. It's too little for me to read like that, and then I can't find it when I get... I can't find anything when I get the other way. I think it does have it. Yeah, it's got 4 SATAs. It's doing weird automatic, just me moving the mouse around. I don't want it to do that, actually. It's highlighting too. I don't understand why it's doing that. It is fighting every inch of the way. I don't understand. Are we having trouble with our memory or something? Not really. Okay, PCI Express slot. PCI slots, yeah, so there's one PCI Express, IDE, DDM, DDR2, video. Okay, yeah, VGA, there it is. It has a COM port and a VGA. And 4 USBs on the back, PS2s. So, yeah, so that could be run without the video card. Very good. I don't know how much video memory it has, but probably it might tell it on here somewhere. Yeah, these motherboards without these posters, I'd have never got them together. And these two are different from each other too. They're not exactly the same. This one here is the AMD version, and then the other one is the Intel. They're pretty much, you know, very comparable in features. Well, except for mine had the Gigabit Ethernet, which I did not even remember. That's very good though, because I was thinking about making that just letting it stay a backup server. It's already basically what it is now anyway. I could even put one of those real big hard drives in it, or 1 or 2 of them. Well, I'd have to take something out. What I could do is put the 2 big hard drives in it. Well, I don't want it running all the time in here. If I had a place to run them where I didn't have to listen to it and have the extra heat, but in here in my room, I can't stand that. So I had my eye on that old Acer laptop, but it's not going to have you can't put a PCI card in it to make it Gigabit Ethernet. A backup server with 100 megabit network card is just not going to be worth crap. I used to do that. I used to back up stuff to that red black BioStar, everything to it, to those hard drives, all those hard drives that are in it, over the network. And man, I mean, I'd had to let it run 3 days to back up, you know, 5 gigabyte or whatever, maybe just 3 gigabytes actually. Probably more like 2 or 3 gigabytes. 2 or 3 gigabytes took like 2 or 3 days. Not day and night, 24 hours. Okay, so this one I could use, well, my main goal right now is that I could use, what could I use to test these PCI cards? And this is what I could use, I guess, because, well, I mean, well, I could use my red black BioStar. It's already up and running. It's just that well, I need to get my server back up and running, get it out in the garage, and then I can do whatever I want with anything else. You know, I won't have to worry about the heat and the noise and all that. Right now, it's not killing me because most of the days are cool enough. You know, it's not staying 80 something degrees in here, but although right now it's 79.2 with the heater set on 75. I actually was a little chilly earlier this evening, and I turned it up to 76, and then I looked up and it was 78. Turned it down to 75, and now it's even gone up a little more at 79. It was 78, almost 79, 78.8 or something. Now it's 79.2. A lot of times I notice it by the fact that I start coughing uncontrollably, and that's what had happened right before I started this video. That's when I realized, oh, that's what it is. And I realized, oh, I feel the heat in my face, you know, and the heater was running. So, okay, so that's what I needed to know. That's actually better than searching the manual, looking at the picture of it. So, it would be a good candidate. It actually would need that card. I think I would like to get this back up and running in something, but I wish that if they would put some, you know, it needs at least 450 watt power supply. I don't like anything. What I bought for Mom's machine was a 650 watt power supply, and it was perfect because it is exactly how much you need to run that 8-core, and that was what I had in mind, is putting an 8-core processor on that ASRock Mother Board in that box, and that's what I ended up doing. Now I'm going to go ahead and buy her a motherboard that doesn't have problems with this particular processor. That processor is several years newer than that motherboard. So it was just very early in the 8-core AMDs when that motherboard was built. So it supported the first few generations. The first generation, you know, there's like a list of 5, maybe 10 processors on that ASRock site that it supports. I'm looking to see if there's, oh, that looks like that might be the manual. It doesn't have a picture or anything to give it. There it is. That's a setup guide, I guess. But yeah, they don't. Some of them don't use the word Ethernet. In the manuals, they seem to like to use LAN. But I'm not seeing anything. I don't think this is the full manual. I think this is a BIOS setup. Okay. That might be one. Let's see what that is. FCC information. There it is. Yeah, this is the manual. Realtek 8201CL. It's 100 megabits, just like I saw on the poster. So, it would actually really benefit from that. Okay, so that's good to know. So yeah, I've got 3 machines, or no, 2 machines that could actually use these cards right now. My my Red Black BioStar, I mean my Lenovo i5, it has the onboard Gigabit Ethernet, so I don't need one in there. Besides, it only has this one standard PCI. There, PCI Express, that's what I was wanting to make sure about. One PCI Express and one, oh, looks like it. Slots, PCI 16 and then 1X. So maybe it has, I didn't see 2 slots though, I saw 1. I think it's the same slot supporting either, you know, PCI 1 or well, X1, oh, X1, that's how many, okay. But I thought I saw on the picture at least 2 PCI slots, though. That's what's throwing me off. Maybe I didn't. PCI Express, PCI. Oh, maybe it does only have 1 PCI. Well, did I just not see that right? So, I mean, it wouldn't be great without the video card, because it's going to have probably, let's see if it says how much memory it has. I think we're out of the English section now. Yep, 256 megabytes, that's what I figured. That's what this Lenovo i5 has, which I thought would just be, ever since I got my first 512 megabyte video card, I thought I would never go back below that. I was looking to go, you know, 1 gig minimum, 2 gig would be pretty good, you know. And that hasn't worked out that way, because I couldn't afford to buy this stuff over the years. I'll have to see that picture one more time. I just can't believe that I missed that slot. Now see, it shows 2 PCI slots. I'm going to say the picture is right, and it makes more sense. And then it has the 1 PCI X16 slot, and 2 regular PCI slots, yeah, and 2 RAM slots. Okay. All right. So, but it would be usable. I mean, that's what I'm using every day. The thing that makes up for the abysmal video memory is it's a quad core, 4 core, you know, with 4 gig of RAM, and it's an i5 processor. So it's a, I can't remember if it's 2 or a little more than 2 gigahertz. All right. Let's see. What other machines do I have? Nothing else is set new, I don't think. And of course, I would have to build up the motherboard that I was just now looking at. I would have to build up that motherboard again. It's in a box with all the parts, you know, because it came out of her cardboard box. It came out of her PC box, you know, the red black. Well, it looks just like the red black. But while just yesterday's video, you can see what it looks like when I got out these cards and everything and tried to put them in there, and I can't see worth doodly anymore, so I couldn't see that it was, you know, wasn't no way it was going to go in there until I got down there with my magnifying glass and everything. Plus, I was trying to make, you know, I had it lined up to where I was trying to make the video and trying to have everything in the, I had the endoscope out, but actually I didn't have it setting over the machine or anything at the time. But, okay, so I guess, well, I still, well, if I try one, I want to try these out, because if they don't work, I still can send them back. I don't have to say a word. I don't have to complain about them being bent since I straightened them out. They'll definitely send them back if they don't work. So I don't know. I couldn't see anything to tell me how long I have still to send them back. All I could see was that I could click on the buttons to send them back, and it looked like it was going to let me. And somewhere in there, I used to look at that, you know, in Amazon, about when you could send things back and all that, telling how much longer you have to send something back, you know. But boy, I looked up there and I saw that I didn't realize I was still talking on the, that's fine, but I didn't realize I was still talking on the wireless mic. But I looked up there and I saw that the SM58 was muted and sitting up there on my desk, and I was like, oh no, have I been talking to myself this whole time? But no, it's all good. Okay, when I was moving around over there, I started these up and I never changed back. I always, usually when I'm doing desktop videos, I change it back just because I like that mic better. These are a lot better than my old one. You know, this is a little dual setup. You can see I got it on right now. I'm just wearing them both. You know, it's kind of the concept of them is that you can have two people, you know, one for two people at once. But it goes back to one connector into your phone. So I just thought, well, I mean, and you can't turn one off or turn, you know, or anything like that. So I don't want one just laying somewhere picking up background noises. So I just put them both on, you know. And actually, I think that's, well, I was testing them yesterday, and they actually do sound better together than they do separately. The volume's noticeably lower when they're separate. And they seem to me that they sound better. I think it gives it actually might give it just the tiniest little bit of delay or something, because it makes it sound a little more like my SM58 with my, I've got compression, noise gate, and a little bit of reverb on it. But I've got a different, not what you would think of as a normal reverb that sounds kind of an echoey. This reverb is to actually make it sound more flat, because for speaking, you don't really want reverb like you would when you're singing. So anyway, yeah, it would be silly to, I was sitting there thinking in my head, okay, well, a few weeks ago, actually a month ago before Christmas now, back in November or early December, I got out that Acer laptop and I thought, you know, here it is out. I could put a server, Fedora server on it, and I could use it as a backup server until I'm setting up my Net Pro Max the way I want it. And I thought, that's just going to take the rest of the day. I don't want to do that. And so I didn't do it. And now I wish I had, because I thought I was getting close to being done with the Net Pro Max, and then this, that, and the other thing happened, and I've been running the Red Black BioStar Fedora 14 server. I already had server installed on it. I'd used it as a test bed, you know, for years. I never made it my live server because it had all my personal files on it and everything. And so that's what I'm using, and I don't like that either. I don't like it. I mean, the only thing that's exposed to the internet is just the you know, where the web server files are. But you know, if somebody was to figure out how to break through the, you know, the SE Linux and the, you know, password protection and stuff, then. But I don't have anything running but just web server, you know, view only. I don't have it. I used to run FTP, but I don't do that anymore. So, because people kept trying to break into it, and I didn't, it was all just read only, you know, I didn't have any login or anything set up. So anyway, yeah, the best thing to do would be to get back to, I was getting really close to having the Net Pro Max up and running. I mean, it's up and running. I was getting really close to being done with it and putting it in the garage, and I was wanting to have XFCE desktop, and I got it working, but you had to type StartX on the command line to get into it, and I didn't like that. I was trying to get the graphic login to work, and I was messing with it the last time I worked on it, and I went to shut it down just to reboot it, I think is what I was going to do. And it kept, and it popped up a message. This is an XFCE desktop, and it said, there's a program running, do you really want to shut it down? And I was like, and I thought, oh, maybe that could mess something up, you know, and not thinking at all that the program, I think maybe it entered my mind, yeah, I think it did, that the program, it didn't say what program, it just said a program is running. And I thought, well, yeah, I thought, okay, what if it's updates? That would be very bad. So I looked around, and it didn't look like it was, you know, running updates or anything. And I fiddled around for 5 or 10 minutes before I shut it down, and I finally shut it down. And it was doing an update. It was doing a kernel update of all things, and it broke it. So now I've got to either figure out how to fix that, read up on it, and find out how to fix that, or I'm going to just reformat it again another time, which may end up being easier. But and the thing that's why how it caught me like that so easy is because I've been running Mate, well, Genome 2, Mate's a clone, a fork of Genome 2. That's been my favorite desktop since I got, that's what got into Linux in '05. And Mate pops up and says, what's running? If it says updates are running, then oh, well, this don't shut down in the middle of updates, And so I just never dreamed that it would just say, I was making a video and I said, that is ridiculous. A program is running, So, and I was really tired. I remember that. I'd been working all night or all day or whatever it was. I was tired, getting ready to film, needing to go to bed and eat and go to bed. And so I just fouled up and shut it down and broke it. And I've never done that before either. I've had it happen, but not because I just manually did it like that, So I do remember having. I think I remember. I'm actually sure if I've ever had a kernel update being interrupted and broken like that before, exactly like that. But it won't work, and luckily I already had. I think I had 2 previous kernels, so it can boot to the older kernel. It runs fine. Yesterday I did the same thing. I just started draining. I guess I just have to. I took a cold pill. Didn't seem like that long ago, but I guess I need another one. So that's really what I ought to do, though. Either just reformat it, even if all I do is forget about I don't really need the XFCE desktop. I can just install the base Fedora server, no desktop if I need to, just to get it done and set it out in the garage and let it run. Then I can go about the rest of this stuff. But I know how things go. I wanted to try to figure out what I was going to do with these cards before it was absolutely too late to. I'm trying to switch to. Oh, 1 and 2. That's I wasn't thinking of the right thing. Before it's absolutely too late to send them back. But what? I could be working on something instead of talking about it? Well, I guess you're right. Absolutely. Yeah. I ain't getting nothing done jabbering about it. That's the case, isn't it? Well, sometimes it helps to talk it through to figure out what to do. Talk it through and figure out what to do. That's a poet and didn't know it. Okay. I can see right now that I'm beginning to feel that I'm getting too tired to start a major thing anyway. Can't get lost in the middle of my sentence, so yeah, I was debating about it. I kept thinking, boy, I hate to waste either one of those. Even when I put the ASRock in Mom's machine, I thought, I sure hate to waste her that E-Machines processor, that little E450 or 540 or whatever it is. And oh, that's the one I was thinking about. Oh, well, the motherboard's bad on it, so the ASRock's the motherboard I'd be using. Yeah, so I can have 2 dual cores if I want to spend the money on power supplies for them. And buy Mom a new motherboard for her machine, which I'll just make sure and get one with, I saw a couple with gigabit onboard video memory. And with 8 gig of RAM, you're not going to miss a gig of RAM for that. Give it as much as it'll take. Just shared. With onboard, you share some of your RAM with it. It's what you do, however much you want to you can afford there, you know, how much RAM you've got. But I can give it whatever it'll take. Some of them, like for instance, I was just looking in the BIOS of one of these machines the other day, and it was called video aperture, how much do you want to allow? And so it has onboard, like this one was small, it was one of those old machines in the garage. I don't remember what it was now, 32 megabytes, you know, 68 megabytes maybe, probably 68 megabytes. How much do you, and then you could allow shared memory up of the RAM up to 256 megabytes. And so that's what I'm talking about. So if it has a gigabyte actual, you know, video memory chip built into the board, and then if you could share, you know, maybe another gigabyte, well then, boy, that'd be all right. Because she's, you know, she's not going to be, that'd be a heck of a lot more than I've got on anything. And, you know, not being running demanding applications is, you know, no, she's going to be editing videos and, of course, not playing games or anything. So the most demanding thing, we used to always just say, oh, all I do is just surf the web and, you know, check email. Well, those are, besides the other aforementioned, those are the two other most demanding things you can do these days on the computer, because all the junk that they run in the web browser and on the websites can bring your machine to a screaming halt. I remember when Flash would use up, you know, the instant you hit a page, Flash would start within 30 seconds or 20 seconds, it would be using up 100% of your CPU memory. It would happen so fast you wouldn't have time to figure out what was going on and close your, well, even if you close your browser, it doesn't stop it from doing that. That's the thing. It doesn't disconnect the pipe, you know, from that application. Or either that, or it's just already put so much strain on your CPU, it just can't catch up, you know. I don't know exactly how come it did that, but I remember trying to, by the time I realized it was doing that, I would try to hurry up and shut down the browser and everything so the machine wouldn't be locked up. And most of the time I wouldn't catch it in time, and I would end up, the machine would completely lock up and you'd just have to hard shut down. And that was back when I was running Windows XP, when it first started happening to me. And that would, you know, have 50-50 chance that you would damage files and lose files, or break, or have to run fixed disk, whatever it is in Windows, when you booted back up. But it kept on and on all the way through the years, doing the same thing. You know, it'd be okay for a while. You just have to be careful and don't open too many browser pages with Flash on them. Pay attention to that, or block it, or you know, whatever. I mean, you couldn't watch any videos back then without Flash, so that was the thing. So I didn't block it. I just tried to. Well, what I would finally, after they came up with browser add-ons for Firefox, where you could block individual things on the page, I would block all ads and anything that wasn't exactly the video I wanted to watch or whatever. And funny, oddly enough, I always stayed away from Flash. I liked MPEG video. But in OBS Studio right now, I am actually making my videos in FLV, a Flash video file format, because it uses the least resources on the machine to encode, and it plays a good quality. It did always make a good quality video, but it did it by using all of your CPU power to do it and render all that stuff live in real time, you know. And anyway, that actually works the best, and it's the only way. I've tried, you know, I just tried it again recently. I tried doing MPEG-4, and it just almost locked up the machine before I could, you know, within 2 minutes. So that's crazy, because you don't even see a whole lot of Flash anymore on the web anymore, you know. And, you know, YouTube used to use Flash, you know, Flash is their default video format. They don't do that. They haven't for years now. So, and HTML5, the big promised, you know, savior of the internet, turned out to be pretty resource hungry itself. It's okay though. It's not anything as bad as Flash. But off on another sidetrack. So this is Don, the king of sidetracks, getting ready to sign off. All right. So yeah, I'm just rambling, and yeah, okay. The Net Pro Max. If I maybe, you know, once I go off and do other things, some other ideas will come to me. But I've been dying to get the Net Pro Max finished and get my server back, up and running. My real server, my new Fedora 29 server, up and going. And what I think I will do is set up another machine, maybe the IBM that was my server, as a backup server. Just go ahead and put, just Fedora 29 on it with no GUI or anything. It wouldn't matter. Just something I can just turn on if something goes wrong with my, my full-time server, so that I won't have to do something like turn on the red black BioStar on my server. Either the IBM or that laptop I keep talking about. I just finally decided that I have this little 32 gigabyte SD card that's in a USB adapter that would be just enough to put in that laptop, because it doesn't have, that's the only reason I'm not using it, it doesn't have a hard drive. The hard drive was bad in it, or in one. I had two laptops that I got years ago that were given to me. They were left in a laundromat. A friend of mine, where he washed his clothes, he doesn't know anything about computers. He doesn't even want one. And they were in a box that said, if you want them, take them. And they were full of viruses, and one of them had a bad hard drive. And anyway, the Dell 1525 I've used for years. Right now, Mom's using it as her main machine. And the other one had a bad hard drive. I think it was the one with the bad hard drive. And the Acer had bad broken hinges and a bad display. But you can, it's got a VGA output. You can plug it into. I can plug it into my KVM switch. And actually, one of them, what gave me the idea is one or both of them had web servers on them. Evidently, I looked through the files, and they were whoever it was a student, and they were learning how to, set up web servers and build websites. It was obvious all the stuff they had in there. They had classes and stuff on the machine, stuff that I actually didn't know existed, Microsoft classes and stuff. And anyway, this is a USB adapter here, but there's tape on it because the card wants to fall out. Because this is a Wintec SD card, but this is a Strontium branded adapter. It's just not quite as tight in there as the Strontium brand. But I do have a regular, this is a micro SD, I think it's called, for the phones, but you have an adapter that I can put it in that'll be a regular size, that I can stick it in the slot in the laptop and use it as the drive. And since I wouldn't be writing files for that much, it should be fine. It would just be writing a few, whatever it needs to keep it running, the operating system running, but I wouldn't be, downloading and saving files and doing this and that. What I've been doing with it for years now is I had easy to boot on it, multi-boot Linux, well, Linux or Windows. It's called easy to boot with a 2, and you could just put a bootable ISO on it, with Linux or Windows, either one. And it would the system on there, easy to boot, would see it, and then you could boot to it. And I had 32 gigabyte. I had enough space for about, depending on how big the ISOs are, anywhere from 20 to 30 or even 40 of them. Generally, the ones I use are from 500 megabytes to 3 gigabytes. So I was always putting them on and taking them off and stuff, and it got to where it wouldn't. When I put new ones on there, they wouldn't work. They wouldn't boot. And I finally figured out that you need to defrag this thing. I know they call it make files contiguous, which is defrag in Windows Talk, which is what how I learned it. And so you need to defrag it, and I kept trying to do it, and then it didn't throw up an error. They have a little make files contiguous app that comes with easy to boot, and it didn't throw an error. It just didn't take very long to run. So I'd like to never figured out that it wasn't working. And finally I got on their site has got the world of documentation, but it's so much that it's hard to find stuff. It's a great site, great application. But I finally figured out that that's what it was, that it happens with especially SD cards or flash memory, USB sticks or SD cards. After so long of, writing and rewriting to them, they will get to where they're fragmented and they won't defrag. And there's one application they recommended to try that I already knew about called Defragler, a little Windows application that might fix it. but I don't know if I ever got to do that or not. I ended up reformatting it. I think it's just basically empty with 30, FAT32 on it right now. But anyway, I thought, I could put that in there and make that laptop functional, and I probably will. I might do that, and then for my phones or for any other purposes, if I get another card, I'll get a 64 gigabyte or maybe even 128. I have two of my phones have 64 gigabytes, and the one I'm talking my mic's on is 32 gigabyte. And anytime I do any videos on it, I fill it up in no time. So it makes me want to avoid using it for videos. But it's actually the quickest one to, well, if I just want to do handheld, it's easy to do because it's not on a tripod or anything. But usually the tripods are actually more, better, more helpful. But what I'll do usually is I just, in my mind, I think, okay, I don't want to run out of space, so I grab either this one I'm on right now or the one that's over here on the table. I actually have a stick for it. I've got it mounted on a stick. And I can hold a selfie stick, But, and then it's put in the mic stand. That stick was just the right size. I can't actually show it very easily. But I'm talking about this camera over here, not the endoscope that you can see, but the one that you're seeing the view from top. And yesterday I did grab it and use it. I always forget that I can do that if I want, but yeah. So, and but that laptop, a laptop that that's quiet. That one is quiet and doesn't make a lot of heat. I haven't ran it for days on end, so I know it's going to make some heat. But main thing is, for something you want to run it all the time, you want it quiet. But and I thought about making it a backup server and putting that 8 terabyte hard drive in it, because that hard drive is that's what they are. Back to those Seagate USB backup drives. What's inside there is basically a laptop hard drive. They'll fit in laptops. That's what I saw before I bought them, and that's one reason why I thought, hey, that you might want to take them out of the box. That's what I originally thought I'd do, is take them out of the box. I mean, they're SATA drives. You can put them in any machine that has SATA connectors in it. It doesn't matter if it's a small, thin drive or a regular size drive. They're 3.5-inch drives. They're not the smaller ones like the older laptop drives. But the other ones, I think the old ones are 2.5-inch. I was just fiddling with one the other day. An adapter. Well, there was an adapter we had for one, and the connector broke off its motherboard, off its circuit board, and I tried soldering it back on there. It's so tiny I couldn't see, and I used solder paste and everything, and I evidently got it. Looks good, but I tested it on the multimeter, and it was ground all. There's like 5 pins and 4 of them were grounded, and I know all 4 of those pins shouldn't be grounded, so I must have got solder bridges underneath it. Oh, and I got it too warm. I got it too hot, and I'm pretty sure I didn't inspect it, didn't take pictures like I usually do, didn't do it on a video, and so I believe I'm pretty sure a resistor fell off during that process, so I would have to get a hold of find a resistor to put on there too. And it was a little surface mount resistor. You could replace it with a regular resistor, but I'm just a novice at that. I'm just trying to learn about all that sort of thing. And I can only guess. Watched lots of videos and read a lot for several years, but so I'm still just very much a novice. But I can guess by the others, R1 and R2. That's all that's on there, which means resistor, And so I'm going to guess, probably a pretty good guess that R1 and R2 would be the same value. And so that's what I was thinking I would do. But I thought, well, if I'm wrong, it could actually it'd probably work just fine. And then one day something gets a little overloaded or something, gets a little spike in the circuitry, and then it blows out that nice little hard drive. And it's not a big hard drive. It's just a 30 gig, but hey, it works great. So I thought, that's not. And I went to looking to see about buying some surface mount resistors. I have a little kit with some regular through-hole resistors, but I don't know that I actually have the right value. It's a 330 kilohertz or ohms? Kilo ohms. Now I can't even remember. Anyway, I spent a few hours researching, and I saw where some people. I knew you could do it. I've seen it on the videos, but put a regular through hole in place of a surface mount, if you got room for it, you know, which it does, just have enough room. Anyway, I thought, well, what if I just buy a surface mount resistors, and they, you know, like they range from 16 cents each to, you know, 25 cents each or something, but you know, you're going to pay $5 shipping, so so then you can buy a whole kit for about $9 with a whole 100 of them, but you can buy a hard drive adapter that'll fit that hard drive for $5, so or $4, $3.98. So you know, it's not mine, so I just wanted to fix it if I could, and I didn't. I didn't make it any worse. I mean, it was broken, it didn't work, but I did make it to where it could be dangerous, so I hid it away in my stuff here, so that we wouldn't. I actually want to go in and desolder that connector to make darn sure nobody says, hey, let's try that thing out. I might forget in a couple of years and try it out. I'm getting that way, you know, where I forget major things like that. So, because it looks fine now. It looks like it would work. But it's missing a resistor, and it's probably shorted on 4 pins. Because I'm pretty sure that you wouldn't have 4 grounded pins on a 4. I think it's 5 pins and 4 of them are grounded. So I imagine there's a nice big old solder bridge up underneath the underside of that connector. So, I don't know why I get talkative when I get tired. I guess I've always been that way. I guess people are that way a lot. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to have to go before I do this again. Keep jabbering. Getting kind of hungry now. I guess it's getting, 5 in the morning, and I've been up all night. I don't know what time I got up now. I didn't really pay much attention. I think it was between 7 and 8:30. I'm trying to stay up long enough to get off this night schedule, but I haven't been doing too good. I've been gaining 1 to 2 hours a day. That's the best I've been able to do. I just wear out. So I'm gonna go and I had to see if my sound was still working on my stream. Okay, so I'm gonna go, and next time I'll be doing something with all this stuff. All right, bye bye.